Welcome once more, great and lovely people of Biafra. This is Star News TV Biafra 1. Today's date is the 2nd of June 2025, and we are here to give you more updates on the case of Mazi Simon Ekpa. Many people reported about the preparatory session or the pre-trial session of the case of Mazi Namdekanu, but they failed to report the actual trial when it began because it started in the afternoon. The actual trial started in the afternoon. The preparatory trial started in the morning. And so the person you are seeing on your screen is Samsa Hakala, the prosecutor of the government, that is to say the person representing the Nigerian government. Now we are going to explain to you what he said in this video, and then we are going to give you more information on how the actual trial happened, what happened, when was it postponed to, the next court date, and the court date for the other part of the trial where they say he evaded tax. I think they say something about tax evasion and all of that. So we'll tell you all the informations and the dates that they have set aside for this hearing next time. And so before I go into explaining what happened and what these lawyers are saying, because the lawyer of Mazi Namdekanu of Simon Ekpa also made statements. He also made statements, and we're going to show you videos and statements of what he made in court. But before we do that, I want you to listen to this man. They call him Mr. Onokpasa. I think he's a lawyer in Nigeria. I want you to listen to what he said.
In the case of Simon Ekpa, his arrest is overdue. In fact, I had even, well, this is classified, I had actually even encouraged that he should be shot because he was killing his fellow.
You can't shoot someone without trying. Then you're a lawyer.
No, you can't. You can't. If
yeah, you'd be liable if you did.
No, if the person is an enemy combatant, is liable to be shot. I know the law.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that you're advocating for him to be shot. But you have to have incontrovertible evidence. He's alleged to have done things.
Yes, no problem. But
right.
This is just intelligence stuff. It's just a crazy, poorly educated young man. If that's in that case, I am in full support of his arrest.
Now, there's a reason why I brought up this video, because you see, this man called Mr. Onokpasa is an APC chieftain. You need to understand their positions and understand their spoken words and understand where they are going to. This man that just spoke is an APC chieftain. That means he's a high-ranking person in the ruling party APC. Secondly, this man supported TINUBU and still supporting TINUBU. Thirdly, this man said in this interview that it is a classified information. Classified meaning that it is a secret information, but because they cannot bring back Simon Ekpa to Nigeria, he now wants to make their secret information open. What is the secret information? That they would have preferred, once he comes into Nigeria, they shoot him dead. So have you seen the mentality of the people who you are calling leaders? The mentality of the people who want to rule the nation. This is what we have been talking. These people have mentality of criminals, terrorists. And we continue to tell the people that these are the cause. These people you are seeing, these ruling people, these people in government are the real terrorists, not even people who are defending themselves. Simon Ekpa is only defending himself and trying to let the people of Biafra understand that they must stand up and defend themselves before these warmongers, these criminals in government holding political positions, begins to attack them. And they have already even started. That he is just advocating that the people of Biafra stand up and defend themselves from being wiped up from the face of the earth. They tried it during the Ojuku's time, and Ojuku stood up and defended the people of Biafra, and they want to try it now again. That is why Mazi Namdekanu came up. That is why Simon Ekpa came up. That is why all Biafrans are rallying around them to ensure that we defend ourselves. It is all about survival. It is all about survival. And what Simon Ekpa is advocating for is a permanent solution. Simon Ekpa has said this countless times that we need a permanent solution. What is that permanent solution? Since these people do not want us, the permanent solution is for us to separate from them. Let them have their own border and let us have our own border so that we protect ourselves, fully the way we want to protect ourselves. This is what is happening, and this is what Finland must understand. And when I'm giving this analysis, we want our people to share these things wide so that the people who need to know and see must know and see. And it is important so that people will be informed. Anybody who is not informed is deformed, and that person who is deformed will be speaking out of ignorance. But when you are informed, you have information, you'll be speaking based on informed, information that you have gotten. You have informed decision on whatever you are doing. Now, let us listen to what the prosecutor is saying. The lawyers representing Nigeria, let us listen to what he's saying before the court. Let's go into the case.
Terrorismirikoksista syytetyn epäillään toisaalta yllyttäneen rikoksiin Nigeriassa ja toisaalta sitten osallistuneen terroristiryhmän toimintaan täältä Suomesta käsin niin että se.
So the state prosecutor Samsa Hakala, who is acting as prosecutor in the district court, told the Finnish news outlet that before the preparatory session that the accused is suspected of inciting crimes in Nigeria and of participating in activities of a terrorist group from Finland, so that the group has operated in Nigeria. This is what the representative of Nigerian government is saying. He said that we have a lot of evidence about this person's activities on the information network. So they have evidences on information network, and then he says the information network and his communications. So they are looking at his communications as well. He now said, so far, it is a pretty good picture of what we think has happened in this matter. That is what the prosecutor is saying. He said, however, he says that it is difficult to obtain precise information about the actual possible terrorist crimes because they have occurred in Africa. EKPA's lawyers Carl Gumeres also raised the question during the preparatory session about how much information from Nigeria can be trusted. So even the lawyer representing Nigeria is saying that they happened in Africa, so they are finding it difficult to even understand the situation. It means that the lawyer does not even have a grasp of what he is trying to defend. He doesn't even understand what is going on. The only thing he has concrete that he can hold on to, he is saying that the communication of Simon Ekpa and all, and his information network and all. But let's listen to the lawyer of Simon Ekpa.
Onko päämieheni ollut jollain tavalla osallisena tai johtamassa niitä toimia, mitä siellä on tapahtunut. Ja se, että minkälaista väkivaltaa siellä ylipäätänsä on ollut, onko missä roolissa ne on ollut, mitenkä vuoksi siellä on väkivaltaa käytetty, se on myös tässä yksi, mitä tullaan selvittämään. No syyttäjällä on näkemys päämieheni viestittelystä, hän on ihan julkisia kanavia pitkin.
So EKPA's lawyer Carl Gumeres is saying that my client has denied any terrorism charges. He also went further to say that the court's hearing will examine one fundamental question among others, and that very one fundamental question is that has my client been in any way involved or leading the actions that have taken place in the Biafra region? That is the question. Has he been involved or leading the actions in whatever is happening in Biafra region? The court will examine, among other things, EKPA's public messages on social media and whether he has publicly urged people to commit terrorist acts in his messages. So you will discover that in all Simon Ekpa messages, he is always advocating for Biafra defense, for the sovereignty of his people, for freedom of his people, and also requesting that the Nigerian government understand and respect the people of Biafra. All he was asking is that the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be granted him, that he is a freedom fighter and nothing more. But these people do not want to listen. They want to force the Biafran people into what they are not interested in. And this goes against the law. It goes against the law. Now, let us now hear the final decision on what took place in the court, the dates for the next hearing and all. So, EKPA's lawyer, Carl Gumeres, comments on the upcoming court hearing after the preparatory section. Carl Gumeres says that EKPA denies the terrorism charges, and in addition to the terrorism charges, EKPA is being tried in the district court on suspicion of aggravated tax fraud and violating the provisions of the Attorneys Act. The court will likely hear these charges in the week after midsummer. So they say that they will likely hear these charges of aggravated tax fraud in the week after midsummer. So after midsummer, a week after midsummer, it will be heard. That is when they are likely going to hear that case. Now, the hearing of the entire case began in the district court on Friday, which is May 30th. And then the preparatory section was in the morning, and the main hearing began in the afternoon. Now, at that time, there was time for evidence in which the prosecutor presented messages published by EKPA on his X handle. So they actually had the main trial in the afternoon, and the lawyers of the Nigerian government presented Simon Ekpa's published messages on X, which is formerly Twitter. And so they say several days have been reserved for the main hearing in Paijahame District Court. So after they presented those, they now, reserved some days for the next court hearing. So they say several days have been reserved for the main hearing in the Paijahame District Court. So subsequently, they are going to tell us the exact date that has been, reserved for this case of MSE Simon Ekpa. As the informations are coming, we will be relating to our people. So this is the full detail of what transpired in court on Friday, the 30th of May 2025. We will be informing our people on what is happening as we progress, but the most important thing is that you share widely. I am going to make another video of the atrocities of the Nigerian government. We must be exposing the atrocities of the Nigerian government. It is very important, and it is important that our people share widely so that everybody hears this information. I continue to say it, that when our people are not informed, that they are deformed. They must have information on the current things that are happening in the country so that they know where their standing is. Thank you for listening. This is Biafra First.